You will hear evidence in this case
of sudden, unexplained death.
Research how long before a body starts to smell, how to stop a body from decomposing, how long for someone to be missing to inherit. Can you throw away body parts? What does formaldehyde do?
And you may recognize this name, Sergeant Y. Buchanan.
My name is Yuri Buchanan.
Which is Yuri Buchanan.
How long does DNA last? There were also more Google searches. Hacksaw best tube to dismember. Can you be charged with murder without a body?
This is Anna Walsh, and it's alleged that her husband, Brian Walsh, murdered her in their family home in the state of Massachusetts. Let's watch.
Anna Walsh was born in Serbia in 1983. After graduating from a university in Belgrade, she eventually moved to the United States in 2005. She became a dual citizen. Anna worked in the hospitality industry at various hotels, and it was at one of those hotels where she met Brian Walsh.
Brian Walsh is a bloated only child from a rich family that grew up in Massachusetts. Let's keep watching.
In 2016, Brian and Anna got married and started a family. Together, they were raising 3 young boys. In 2022, Anna obtained a position with a real estate company, which forced her to split time between her home with her family in Massachusetts and Washington, D.C. And you may recognize this name, Sergeant Y. Buchanan.
My name is Yuri Buchanan.
Which is Yuri Buchanan.
Oh, we certainly do recognize our favorite dopey state trooper, Yuri Buchanan.
Sergeant Buchanan.
Sergeant Buchanan.
How do I say it?
Buchanan.
Trooper Bukaki. Bukaki. Trooper Bukaki. Bukaki. Trooper Bukaki.
From the Karen Reed case, traveled to Washington, D.C., and spoke with attorneys that represent, and we've redacted the name of the alleged paramour, who resides in D.C. and is the most frequent contact with Anna on cell phone records in possession of investigators. So
Anna Walsh got a great job in D.C. paying over $300,000. When they purchased a townhome there, the broker that showed her the house eventually ended up dating her.
they're talking a lot on the phone. Is that he was in a dating relationship with Anna Walsh and had been for several months. The relationship became more serious over the past few months, and they had spent Thanksgiving together in Dublin and spent Christmas Eve together also. They were open about their relationship in Washington, D.C.
That was Anna's body when she was in Massachusetts, and there was a major transformation once she hit D.C. I wonder why.
And they had plans to celebrate the new year on January 4th, 2022, after she returned from Massachusetts. This move, along with Brian's federal indictment related to an art scam.
This bloated dope Brian pled guilty to a federal charge relating to selling 2 fake Andy Warhol paintings. However, he was still at his house awaiting sentencing when his wife was killed.
Put a lot of strain on their relationship. Then, after spending New Year's having dinner with friends, Anna seemingly vanished. She was reported missing by her employer in D.C. and by Brian on January 4th, executing a search warrant which uncovered evidence they believe proves Brian murdered and dismembered Anna, despite the fact that her remains have never been found.
We will prove the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of the premeditated murder of his wife, Anna Walsh.
This is the prosecutor's opening statement in Brian Walsh's criminal charge. Let's watch.
The evidence will come to us for Anna in 2 different forms. One is kind of tangible. You'll see photos of the family home in Cohasset. You'll see videos from different stores. You'll see Anna Walsh's banking records. You will also see ambiance, like a Tyvek suit, like a hatchet, like a hacksaw. That was until February 2022, where she got what Brian Walsh would refer to as a dream job, where she got to work for Kitchen Spire. And she would make more money than she had ever made before in her career. She had purchased a townhouse in Washington, D.C., and she was expecting to have her family come with. However, Brian and the children had stayed in Massachusetts. And the reason is that Brian had previously pled guilty to a count of fraud.
While Brian was on house arrest in Massachusetts, Anna was living every mother's dream. She was away from her kids and family, several states away, making over $300,000, and she had a new boyfriend.
Was accused of owing over $400,000 of restitution. At this point in time, Anna was the breadwinner for the family, and she had moved to D.C. She was still commuting back and forth, but looking to have the family join her. When she bought the townhouse, she did this with the aid of a person by a real estate agent by the name of William Fastow. She was introduced to Mr. Fastow from her former boss, Jim knew that they became friends, and that friendship became romantic. And that carried on into November of 2022.
The prosecution identified Anna's boyfriend as William Fastow, the hunky real estate broker who was selling more than property.
When Anna needed to go visit her mother, who was sick, back in Belgrade, Serbia, Anna flew to Dublin, Ireland, the weekend of Thanksgiving, and Mr. Fastow joined her for that weekend.
That's one way to put it. Of course, when you're having an affair, most of the time you have to keep it secret and you really can't travel together. Under the guise of going to actually see her old mother in Serbia, Anna and her boyfriend flew to Ireland, and then eventually Anna went over to see the old bag.
She then flew and visited her sick mother in Serbia, and then would return back to the United States. Mr. Fastow, after Dublin, would go back to Washington, D.C.
No surprise there. The old boyfriend said, hey, you go visit that old bag in Serbia. I'm flying back home.
But Anna missed Thanksgiving with Brian and the children.
Although missing Thanksgiving with your annoying husband and 3 kids and spending it with your new lover in Ireland is every mother's dream, old Anna here is definitely not going to win any Mother of the Year awards.
And then on Christmas Eve that same year, Anna went out to dinner with Mr. Fastow. They went out to dinner in Annapolis with another couple, and she stayed the night. And she was supposed to get a flight out on Christmas Day, but she couldn't get a flight.
You have to love Anna here. On Christmas Eve, she goes out with her boyfriend in public with another couple, spends the night with him, misses her flight back home, and misses Christmas with her family.
So she had to drive up from Washington, D.C. to Cohasset. And she missed Christmas Eve and most of Christmas Day with Brian. She would fly back to Washington, D.C. And on December 29th, she would go to dinner with one of her friends. And that friend will say that she was uncharacteristically tired and emotional.
Well, no shit. She's been traveling international, banging her boyfriend in Ireland and in D.C. Of course she's going to be tired.
She returned back to Cohasset on December 30th, and she was going to stay with the family until January 3rd. You'll hear how she went to a bar class, B-A-R-R-E. It's an intensive ballet class.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Any married person over the age of 40 that's at a gym is either having an affair or wants one.
You'll hear from the instructor, who will say that she did extremely well there. Now on January 4th, the Cohasset Police Department dispatched Officer Greg Lawrence to go speak to Mr. Walsh at his home. Brian Walsh informed Officer Lawrence that Anna had left on January 1st, had taken an Uber or Lyft to Logan Airport to fly out to Washington, D.C. for a work emergency.
It's alleged that Brian killed Anna on January 1st, but he never reported her missing. In fact, it was her company that reported her missing and sent over the officer to the house.
And you will hear evidence that over the close to decade that these two people were in love. And all you have to do is look at the evidence and the photograph you'll see of Anna Walsh. And the evidence will establish she is a beautiful woman. And it was not unusual for her to comment to Brian, I had some man look at me today.
This is Brian Walsh's attorney, and this is one thing I can definitely believe in his opening statement.
I think he liked her. And when she told him that she had a crush on William Fastow, the man who had sold them the $1.3 million townhouse in D.C., it didn't upset Brian. He trusted her. Jim Mutlow left around 1:30.
Apparently, this guy, Jem, who Anna worked for previously, was at their house on that very night when they were partying for New Year's Eve.
Brian Walsh and Anna Walsh went upstairs. He went back down to the kitchen about an hour later to clean it up. As adults do for New Year's Eve, they celebrated with wine and champagne. And what Anna signed on that box, she wrote, "Let's make 2023 the best one yet."
This is the champagne box that contains a note that Anna wrote on that very night.
She went on to say, courage, love, perseverance, compassion, joy.
She wanted to write, "Those are all the things I find with my new boyfriend. There just simply wasn't enough room on the box."
And signed it, love. When he entered the bedroom and began to get into the bed, he sensed something was wrong.
And now Brian's attorney's finally going to reveal how Anna died. Let's listen.
But he nudged Anna, his wife. She didn't respond. He nudged her again, a little harder. She didn't respond. He nudged her now in a frantic and panic reaction to where she actually rolled off the bed. You'll hear evidence that now he is panicking and he doesn't understand what has happened and what is happening. It didn't make sense that somebody that he had just been with and enjoyed New Year's Eve into New Year's Day would suddenly be dead. You will hear evidence in this case
of sudden, unexplained death.
Sudden, unexplained death? Well, this is a first.
You will hear evidence that it is real. You will hear evidence that it happens in young people and old. You will hear evidence that happens during the day and during the night, that it happens.
4:55 a.m. on January 1st, he searched how long before a body starts to smell.
Unfortunately for Brian, his attorney's going to have a very hard time proving that's the cause of death when he made these following Google searches right after Anna died.
At 4:58 a.m., how to stop a body from decomposing. At 5:20 a.m., he searched how to embalm a body. At 5:47 a.m., 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. How long for someone to be missing to inherit? Can you throw away body parts? What does formaldehyde do? How long does DNA last? Can identification be made on partial remains? Dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. How to clean blood from wooden floor? Luminol to detect blood? What happens when you put body parts in ammonia? Is it better to throw crime scene clothes away or wash them? There was also information gained from the defendant's phone which showed on January 2nd he was at Home Goods in Norwell where he purchased 3 rugs. There were also more Google searches on January 2nd. Hacksaw, best tool to dismember. Can you be charged with murder without a body? Can you identify a body with broken teeth?
Those are some of the most incriminating Google searches ever made in the state of Massachusetts. Despite the fact that all of our old friends, Proctor, Tully, Yuri Buchanek, and the rest, investigated this crime, I believe this is the one single crime they can actually solve.